OK, let's get the reaction to all of this now. Political commentator joins us now, Albie Amankona, about all of this. So, where are we at with this?
Well, Eamonn, the Prime Minister's certainly in a very tricky spot at the moment. The risk with the Sue Gray report really, I think, was with the pictures. Because pictures, as we all know, can speak 1,000 words. And Number 10 will be waiting to see how this picture, which has been pre-released, if you will, falls down with the public.
Well, the same pictures were released to the Metropolitan Police. They may not see what most people see in these pictures.
Precisely. I think it raises another question, maybe not necessarily directly to the Prime Minister and Number 10, but more to the Metropolitan Police. Because there's this interesting question of how can someone attend an illegal party legally? If the Metropolitan Police have given out fines for this event on the 13th of November, how is it that one person that went to that event could get a fixed penalty notice and another person would not?
Am I right in thinking, Albie, that Downing Street have been quite relaxed about the release of these pictures because their view is that actually the public's imagination is almost assuaged by seeing them because they imagine these big raucous parties and actually it just shows the Prime Minister raising a glass? Is their point of view? Or do you think that they're just going to be leaning very much on the Keir Starmer defence, which is he did appear, but he then went off and carried on doing some work, and you can see his red box, and that could be quite fundamental.
Yes, we have been hearing reports that Downing Street have been quite relaxed about this photo, maybe even pleased, because it does sort of stop those imaginations running wild with what could have been happening. It's not a terrible picture by any stretch of the imagination.
Not great, though, either, is it? I mean, I'm amazed that they are relaxed. What do you think, Eamonn? I mean,
well, you either broke the rules, you didn't. It's like football.
Bubbles.
It's like VAR. Yeah. Was he caught offside or wasn't? It wasn't. He was just caught offside for a nanosecond. You're either caught offside or you're not, and he was caught offside.
It's what's on the table as well, the detritus. 2 bottles of fizz, 1 bottle of gin, multiple bottles of wine, other things strewn and knocked over on the table. It doesn't look like a work event with a drink on the side, does it?
It certainly doesn't look good, but what I actually think this is most important for is the Privileges Committee investigation, which of course is going to kick off after the Sue Gray report concludes this week, because it's in that investigation that the House of Commons will determine whether or not the Prime Minister misled Parliament.
You know, we're all getting our knickers in a twist one way or another about this. But isn't the truth the Conservative Party, no matter what they think, no matter how much they huff or puff or whatever, they haven't got anybody to replace him? There isn't an heir apparent. Therefore, he's going to be OK.
I have never accepted that argument. I know the Conservative Party well. There are many talented members of Parliament in the House of Commons who, when the Prime Minister chooses to resign, will make an excellent new Prime Minister. But my sense is that now is not the time for a leadership election. There's no vacancy at Number 10, and there's no grounds whatsoever of support around another candidate. I mean, we even had Jeremy Hunt in his interview on the Sophie Rayworth show a couple of weeks ago say, now wasn't the time for a leadership election. This is Jeremy Hunt, the man that ran against
contenders,
him in 2019.
One of the reasons why now is not the time, not just the war in Ukraine, but this cost of living crisis. Interesting to hear the Prime Minister making strong hints yesterday that more help is on the way and saying that although he's intrinsically opposed to tax rises, nothing's off the table.
Yes, I think it's important to highlight that there is a £22 billion package which is currently being implemented by this Conservative government to help people in this country through the cost of living crisis. I think the government has acknowledged that it's not enough and more help will be on the way because the bills will be going up even higher in October. So now it's up to the government to decide what form that help will come in.
Right. Let me talk about you as a Conservative. There you are, you're a political commentator, you are a Conservative as well, and you're co-founder of Conservatives Against Racism. So, what are you feeling like? What way do you see the future? How would you play out between now and the end of the year? How do you think it's going to go? What would you like to see?
I would like to see the Prime Minister and the rest of the government focus on delivering on the 2019 manifesto pledges, many of which have been broken. We've seen the national insurance contributions rise come in, and that, for me, was a really important policy that was the policy policy decision that was broken. We promised not to raise income tax or national insurance contributions, and we've done that. I understand why that's happened, but we really do need to get back to what we are known for, which is lowering taxes, increasing the efficiency of our public services, and helping the people of this country prosper.
Except the pandemic has left the coffers bare. What do you do to fill those?
We get the economy growing again as quickly as possible, and we all know that one of the best ways to get the economy growing again is to deregulate and cut taxes, to let businesses innovate, make money, create jobs, create wealth, so more people can be self-reliant and get on in life.
To the Conservative audience, and I say that with a small c, who would be our viewers and watch us today, they'll get very hot and bothered about Boris bashing, as they call it. But I think listening to you, that you're basically saying, don't worry, actually there'll be a lot of huff and puff, but it'll be okay for him in the end.
It will be OK for him in the end if he can get back on track and start delivering on the manifesto pledges that we made in 2019. That includes levelling up. It's been a very difficult time, I think, for many Conservatives throughout the pandemic, and especially probably since November last year, with the multiple scandals that have happened. We need to start handling events better. We need to start being straight with people, and we need to start delivering on our promises.
Good to hear from you, Albie. Thank you very much indeed. Albie Amankona there.
I should say,